All right, folks, we are live. Welcome back to Pangburn Live. Today we're going to be talking about UFOs, UAPs, and aliens. What's going on? I've been abducted. Everyone in the White House is a lizard person. Stuff like that. In recent months, we have seen a series of intriguing unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP events across the United States. Mysterious drones in New Jersey. Since November 2024, residents of northern and central New Jersey have reported numerous nighttime sightings of large drones, some described as being as big as cars. These drones have been observed flying low over homes and in swarms of up to 50. Their proximity to sensitive locations, including military installations and former President Donald Trump's Bedminster golf course, has raised concerns. Despite investigations by FBI and other agencies, the origins and intentions of these drones remain unknown. State Senator John Bramnick has called for a limited state of emergency to ban all drones until more information is available. Oh, what do you guys think? I'm going to give you guys a link to the Discord server here. Invite. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yes. Discord's being weird with the invite button. There we go. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Join the live discussion here. So yeah, I thought we would touch the UFO, UAP, aliens topic since it's back in the media. Again, a lot of claims, no evidence or good reason to believe that anything is of alien origin here, or that there's ever been anything of alien origin on Earth with regard to like flying saucers, alien controlled vehicles, all of these claims that people like Stephen Greer from the Disclosure Project and people that constantly go on the Joe Rogan Experience talk about these different experiences and things that have happened that are somehow related to aliens and UFOs and whatever. But we're going to touch that topic today. I'm happy to go down a rabbit hole and investigate anyone's claims of what they think are, true events that involve aliens of some kind. I would love to hear. Okay, someone said talk about the New Jersey and New York drones and the unwillingness of the intelligence agencies to give a straight answer. Yeah, but Evaristo Infante, just because they don't give a straight answer, this has been a common trope in the UFO community, right? Just because they don't give a straight answer doesn't add anything to the credibility of claiming that it's anything to do with aliens, right? Someone's saying, how are the vibes? Well, I'm looking to be convinced that anything that has happened that has been attributed to aliens visiting planet Earth or alien controlled vehicles or whatever it is that Stephen Greer is doing with his meditation where he thinks he's in communication with aliens. I want to see some demonstration that these things actually are of alien origin, because so far I'm not convinced at all. I think it's just human beings fucking with each other. D-Hogs just said, when do I show my b-hole? But then it got deleted. I don't do that on this stream, but if you follow my OnlyFans and you subscribe for $19.99, you can see at least half that. D-Hog says, I can convince you of aliens in 1 second, all jokes aside. Okay, here's the link to join my Discord server. You can use that link to join the room, and I would be happy to hear your story, and you will get good faith, helpful engagement from me on this topic. Anyone else have have a UFO story or a UAP story or an alien encounter story that they want to share, I want to hear from you. I want to know how you justify believing that this has anything to do with aliens. A lot of you would call me a skeptic. There's usually people refer to people who don't believe this stuff as skeptics in the ufology community, and that would be what I am. Evaristo says, I'm not claiming they are aliens. I'm just saying let's talk about those drones and why the unwillingness of the agencies about it. Well, there could be many reasons as to why an agency would be unwilling to disclose information, right? There could be security issues, or they might not have a good answer yet as to what they're dealing with. There might be a criminal investigation going on. Who knows? There could be all kinds of reasons why they're not disclosing information, right?
From what I've seen in the news about them, these aren't just like your hobbyist drone or even like a professional photography drone that might have a little more size, but these things are pretty massive when it comes to drones, like 6 feet in diameter.
Yeah, some people are saying the claims have been, let's see, I'll read this again. Residents of northern and central New Jersey have reported numerous nighttime sightings of large drones, some described as being as big as cars. So people describing things as big as cars does not mean they are as big as cars. That's one thing. These drones have been observed flying over homes in swarms of up to 50. Okay. Again, if we look at the Phoenix Lights issue, thousands of people reported an alien spacecraft flying over Phoenix, right? But that doesn't mean that it actually was an alien spacecraft that flew over Phoenix.
And that's a good one too. Those Phoenix Lights, they went up in a triangle and like maintained for like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar, Scott's right. The Phoenix Lights is one of the most famous UFO sightings of modern history, occurring on March 13th, 97 over Phoenix, Arizona and surrounding areas. It involves thousands of witnesses and two separate events, sparking widespread attention and speculation. What happened? So the initial event around 7:30 p.m., witnesses reported seeing a massive V-shaped craft with 5 lights evenly spaced along its underside. The craft was described as silent and moving slowly across the sky, blocking out stars as it passed, suggesting a solid object. Sightings of this craft were reported over hundreds of miles from the Nevada state line through Arizona and Tucson. There was a second event at around 10 p.m. that night. A series of stationary bright amber orbs appeared over the Phoenix area. The lights seemed to hover in a line or arc formation for several minutes before disappearing. The public reaction, a lot of it garnered extensive media coverage. Some witnesses described the V-shaped craft as being over a mile wide. And again, just, describing something over a mile wide as an observer doesn't mean it was a mile wide. Phoenix Lights inspired documentaries, books, and movies. Explanation: military exercises. The U.S. Air Force claimed the lights from the second event were flares dropped during a training exercise. The explanation was met with skepticism by many witnesses who insisted the lights behaved unlike conventional flares. So we hear this a lot where people they will see lights in the sky. They will have this belief that they'll want to apply some kind of control or agency to lights in the sky, because we have a hyperactive agency detector within us. It's in us for good evolutionary reason. It's the thing that has us react to a shadow as though it's an agent, because that gives us a greater evolutionary advantage. And that meme was passed, there was meme level and gene level things involved in that's been passed through our ancestry, and the creatures who did not react to the shadow and just assumed it was benign, those are the ones that could have been eaten by lions more regularly. So that's why we have this hyperactive agency detector passed into us. When I was a little boy, I was terrified of my shadow. My parents didn't know what the hell was going on, but once in a while I would just start freaking out, and then they would put a blanket over my head and I would be fine. But they started to realize when the blanket came up, my shadow would come back and I would freak out. So we have these hyperactive agency detectors where we see shadows, we see motions, we see things in the dark, and our minds kind of create an agency out of it. It's like you might see a bear when you're in the dark. You're like, no man, I saw a bear, run. You might have not seen a bear. That's actually a really normal thing to occur. Everyone who just got here, please smash the like button. It really helps the stream out. We're going to be talking about UFOs, UAPs, and aliens, and I want to hear your guys' stories. I'm not convinced that aliens have ever visited planet Earth, but I'm open to having my mind changed. So yeah, there were the military explanations. There's the UFO or extraterrestrial craft explanation. So many UFO enthusiasts consider the event evidence of extraterrestrial visitation due to the sheer size of the object, its silence, and its ability to block out the stars. So just because it's big, silent, and it has the ability to block out stars, that is not evidence of alien extraterrestrial visitation at all. The most likely case, if this was an actual object, is that it's a human-made object. That is the most likely case, right? And then there's some natural phenomena explanation. Some skeptics suggest the lights could be caused by natural atmospheric effects or other. The government, I remember that thing on the governor dismissed it jokingly and then came to believe that this was somehow otherworldly once he saw how popular it was to believe, maybe. I'm just saying maybe, okay? There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money to be made off being, a contactee, right? You write a book. All the UFO enthusiasts want to buy your book. You're going to make some money. Yeah. What do you think on this issue in general, Scott? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, UFOs, I just see no evidence there that actually would substantiate a belief in this phenomena, right? Like a belief that it's actual extraterrestrials, right? So I've looked into the Arizona lights a lot. What most likely that was is they were doing like some flying training, right, on some like new aircrafts, right? And they were like flying in a formation. And people saw this and they're like, "Oh, it's definitely aliens."
Yeah, it's like, and again, we understand why people attribute stuff like that to aliens or beings, or we do the same thing. We're a primitive species. We look at the sun, we start creating a being out of the sun, right? We do this all the time, a being to worship. So homes, these drones have been observed flying over homes and in swarms of up to 50. There's drones everywhere. I mean, you can get your hands on drones that can do very impressive things. So none of this is shocking to me. Their proximity to sensitive locations, including military installations. Okay, I want to see how close they were, because okay, how close were these drones in?
I would like it if we found out though, like what's going on in New Jersey. It's just like a group of like drone enthusiasts who are like, hey, let's get together and let's fly our drones together, right?
That's like the highest likely case, right? Mass delusion is another plausible thing, but it's not near as plausible as it's actually people just fucking with people or fucking around, right? That's always the likely thing here. That should always be what people lean on, that that's likely what's going on, but it doesn't mean we can't look into this stuff and be open-minded and see if there's anything intriguing that causes us any pause. Constellations. I want to see how close. Okay, so numerous drone sightings have been reported. Okay, Naval Weapons Station, Earl, located in Colts Neck. This facility has experienced multiple unauthorized drone incursions into its airspace, while no direct threats have been identified. Okay, so direct. Okay, into its airspace. But then I want to know how wide its airspace is, right? Seems hard to get that information.
Yeah. Yeah, I think getting actual like airspace information, since it's probably like a national security issue,
Yeah.
you're probably going to have a hard time getting direct.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Which, by the way, everyone listening, just because it's hard to get your hands on some of the information you think you should be able to get your hands on, that does not mean there is an alien, UFO, UAP cover-up here. That does not mean that.
Well, you know, a lot of investigative agencies won't share information on ongoing investigations in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation. And I believe this is a worldwide procedure.
Exactly. Yeah. There's good reasons to be doing this, obviously, for anyone that understands the security world. Some information is too sensitive to release because it also might cause public panic or cause the public to implement or to engage in holding other citizens accountable based on a conspiracy theory about them. So like this happens with like the Epstein travel logs, right? Everyone's like, why won't they release the Epstein lists and all of this information? Well, the reason is, one of the reasons is just because there are people on the Epstein travel log to a place, you know, Epstein Island, that was frequented by many people for lunch meetings and different business meetings, that doesn't mean they were engaged in any kind of pederast behavior. So there is there can be security issues related to sensitive matters that sometimes will not be released in order to protect the safety of individuals who might be implicated or exposed in some kind of issue. Because if you release this list, there are people out there that would take that list to be a list of pedophiles or pederasts in the case of Epstein. And of course, logically, that doesn't make sense. Just because you go to an island, that doesn't make you a pederast. Just because it was Jeffrey Epstein's island, it doesn't mean like if you went there for a 2-hour lunch and then flew back, it doesn't mean that you were engaging in any kind of nefarious behavior. It doesn't mean that you didn't either, but the demonstration the burden of proof should always be on the person making the claim about any individual, right? So my point in that is that there are reasons for people's safety, that particular information, including, you know, people who are witnesses to crimes as well. Their names won't be released often when it comes to some legal cases. So, but yeah, I hope some people join us here on Discord to share their stories or share their beliefs about UFOs and UAPs or alien abductions. I'm going to read through the chat here to see what else we got. Okay, let's go up here. D. Hogue says the universe is infinite. I believe that that's likely the case. Mathematically, we cannot be the only ones. So yeah, it's again, due to the vastness of the universe, and if the universe is in fact infinite, then that would be a very difficult stretch. But that doesn't mean we're in any way reachable or within the vicinity of anything like us. That's usually a leap people make just because of the Fermi Paradox, which is not really a paradox, by the way, but it's only a paradox if you assume that they should be around. But you know, the Fermi Paradox, just like due to the vastness and maybe even infinite universe, there should be seemingly an infinite amount of life forms everywhere flying around, and why haven't we seen them? And people make these extrapolations from the Fermi Paradox. But yeah, we're almost certainly not the only ones, but being within any kind of reach is the question that's more relevant to us, I think.
Charlotte Cuthbert has a interesting question that I'd like to address. She asked, why are they only seen in America, talking about alien sightings? And UFO sightings have been reported worldwide. Some of the most notable cases are the Rendlesham Forest incident, the United Kingdom in 1980, often called the British Roswell. U.S. military personnel stationed at the RAF Woodbridge reported seeing unexplained lights in a triangular craft in the forest over 2 nights. Investigations revealed high radiation levels and strange impressions on the ground, but explanations ranged from a nearby lighthouse to misidentified aircraft. There's also the Valençol UFO encounter in France in 1965, the Tehran UFO incident in 1976, Westall UFO encounter, Australia, 1966, and the, I'm going to slaughter this, Petrozavodsk phenomenon in Russia. I'm sorry for anybody that had to listen to that.
No, you nailed it.
And a massive glowing object was observed by thousands of people across the Soviet Union and Northern Europe. Described as a jellyfish-like structure, the phenomenon was officially attributed to a satellite launch, though many dispute this explanation.
Isn't that funny though? That always like, they'd be like, no, that was a satellite launch, and then people will dispute that explanation. Like I always wonder, like, on what grounds are they disputing that explanation?
Me too.
Yeah.
Billy that graduated high school from a small town in Arkansas obviously knows better than the expert.
Right. And always people ask this question, like, why would someone make up an encounter with an alien? Why would someone make up, being flown away in a flying saucer, or being abducted, or seeing lights? And so there is a community out there that will treat you like someone special if you come to them with this experience. So there is that. And then there's also the monetary gain, which is always underplayed. How, people just like, I have this crazy story, or like I'm a government whistleblower. And then all of a sudden this guy's releasing a book and going on a speaking tour and making way more money than he ever dreamed of making. So there are all kinds of reasons why someone would make up stories like this. And just, so that should not be a question that should be too hard for people to figure out. I mean, you can just research. Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
Can I play off that, Travis?
Yeah.
I actually just posted in the Discord chat, there's a band called Chevelle who used to be pretty popular, and they made an album called Sci-Fi Crimes. I mean, that sounds irrelevant, but if we're doing some form of like meta inquiry or something, I think the first question is like, absolutely, like, could someone be deceived or mistaken? Are there explanations they didn't think about, or are difficult just for humans to internalize and make sense of? I think the other sort of interesting thing is like UFOs and UAPs could also like even if they're real, like they could potentially be more accurate as narratives versus as, like when we see like kind of like the conspiracy bros and CIA bros on like YouTube or whatever, like, no offense to you guys, I'd go hang out with you, it's all cool, but when people make this stuff really specific, to me it always sounds 10 times crazier.
Right. Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you said there. Lawrence, you seem to be of the opinion that all the supposed films of aliens are hoaxes. What makes you believe that? Oh, I can't hear you again. Damn it. I think he's got to switch his mic over. That's okay. Larry Scar says, took humans 3 billion years to get this far. We have to meet in times as well as space. Ridiculously unlikely. Yeah, it's ridiculously unlikely. I'm actually going to make this claim. I'm going to say this based on my epistemological standards. I know that we will never come into contact with an intelligent species that can fly around in vehicles, in throughout the history of mankind? I really don't think we will. That's how unlikely I think it is. Go ahead, Lawrence, if your mic's on there. Oh no, it's not. We're not connected. Damn it. Might need to reconnect him. But what do you guys think about that claim? Like, I'm pretty confident in claiming that, like, I think the vastness of space, like if you look at, like, even if you master the speed of light or faster than the speed of light travel, it's like the distance where there's literally nothing in between but, dark energy or dark matter, maybe the artist formerly known, between all this, I just think it's too vast, too spread out. I think it would be beyond winning a lottery to come into contact with other intelligent creatures. What do you guys think?
And and I would just add to that and say that, like, we already know that between the Earth and the Moon, there's already like a couple insurmountable challenges. Is and I'm not a moon conspiracy guy, but we know the engineering that it takes to go outside of Earth's atmosphere, and then getting to the moon is like a big step. Being able to get to Mars is a big step, and then building a craft that can just turn around. And this is like in the scale of the universe. What we're actually asking about accomplishing in this case is this is basically like, taking a step outside your door when your goal is to, walk around the world like 6 or 7 times. And that's even like, exponentially understating that sort of challenge. And so, like, again, could UAPs and aliens and all this other stuff exist? Yeah. Are there probably other explanations? Well, this is, it's not even on the roadmap of like human engineering to understand how any of that would be accomplished. So I'm incredibly skeptical.
Yeah.
So if I may, really quick.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree that, I believe in the Fermi Paradox in terms of believe. I understand it's a huge problem. I've looked into it for hours and hours on end. And yes, there is the great filter. There's all these different things that are associated with the Fermi Paradox. Maybe people aren't exploring outwards, but exploring inwards, like you and I have talked about before. But if it's infinite, if the universe is truly infinite, then anything that is possible is happening.
Yeah.
So I don't think, and there's been billions and billions of years for civilizations to rise and fall and die out and all of this. And, we could be on a rare Earth. The rare Earth hypothesis is also kind of a part of the Fermi Paradox. But yeah, the distances are so vast, we may never as humans see any other alien. But I think there are probably sciences beyond, obviously, the ones that we have that can allow them to do things like technologies that would only be dreamed of, warp technology, bending space, folding space, whatever it may be that's happening.
Yeah.
I don't see it as an impossibility that, while we're still humans on the planet, the planet's going to be here for billions of years. Well, eventually humans will die off and it'll be something different. But maybe within the time that we're still humans, we might interact with some extraterrestrial beings. But I think because, like I said, of the Fermi Paradox, it's going to be, I tend to agree with you. It's going to be very unlikely.
Yeah. Look, Thomas, you know me, I would never call it impossible, of course. I think, literally, I think it's almost certainly the case that everything's possible. And
I'm not trying to play that game. I'm just saying it's very plausible to me that higher sciences exist.
Yeah.
And that they can be utilized by other intelligent beings in the universe. That's an assumption I'm making.
Yep.
But if that is true, then we can then assume, I think, rationally, that that they would probably trying to expand themselves or explore or whatever it may be. Maybe they're like us in some way. But,
just to state the record on the science, like already quantum computers are doing things that they're running types of experiments that we would have never been able to do, even with particle accelerators. And so like just the fact that you can create this superposition that's not basically, sandblasting a particle detector is new, but there's also still no real indication that things that we observe on the quantum level necessarily also apply to like macro objects like we would imagine UAPs would be.
Well, I mean, everything, if you go down far enough, is a quantum object, but yeah, UAP is not. What did you mean by what was it you said? I'm sorry, I forgot what you said. My bad.
Yeah, and I think it is conceivable because what you said is true that like everything is a quantum object, but like another sort of explanation tool or something, that I would use is like it's maybe true that we couldn't get 100 philosophers of science in a room to look at like Randy Johnson pitching a baseball 60 feet or whatever it is. They can agree on a definition of what a baseball is and what a person throwing a baseball is on the quantum level. But we also just might not have like you can't it seems really absurd to say that a baseball is not actually going 60 miles an hour. That could be undermined, but like in like a there's the possibility or something, but like I don't think like my interpretation is Newtonian mechanics are not false, like in the sense that they don't work.
Newtonian mechanics are used in everything that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get to the quantum without Newtonian. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows this, but yeah, Newtonian mechanics are how we build bridges and how we build bombs and all that. And then of course we need the quantum stuff for like nuclear and things like that. But I had heard you earlier say something about superpositioning. Nate, can you expand on that?
I'm not a physicist, but basically you can have like qubits or like quantum things are in a superposition, which means there's multiple states of information.
I was just wondering what you were meaning by it.
It sounds weird. Like it doesn't make sense if we're talking about a baseball going 60 miles an hour to say it's in a superposition, even though technically it is.
The baseball is not in superposition. The particles that are within the baseball are in superposition with other particles that exist.
But like you can't say those particles are going 60 miles an hour then. And so if a radar gun
speed doesn't factor in the quantum, it's not like that.
Yeah, but if I had a radar gun, sorry, I didn't mean to be cutting you off there, but like if I had a radar gun measuring a baseball going 60 miles an hour, I couldn't easily be convinced that there was another phenomenon that was going on at the same time, and that's a like to me that just having the radar gun is like suitable for a sort of core or fundamental or important description of reality.
Okay.
I'm not 100% following, but we probably need to get back on topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all good. We'll have to do a quantum mechanics episode at some point to we can move from the basics towards the more the known unknowns and then beyond that the speculation. But Lawrence, what do you think about this topic? What do you think about UFOs, UAPs, and aliens?
I love sci-fi. Like exploration. For
Oh, we're missing you, Lawrence. Are you guys getting breakup from him as well?
Yeah, big time.
Oh man. We're having a problem with his mic. So yeah, everyone who's just joined us, we are talking about is there any, so I want to hear from the room. I know a lot of us are quote unquote skeptics on this topic. But is there any event that caused you a little more pause than other events in the UFO conversation?
I speak now. I think I got it fixed.
Okay, I think you're good. Yeah.
I asked Jesus, and you guys, Stephen Hawking Newton, Einstein, Carl Sagan, just for my own Darwin. I love science. It's a thrill. It's fun. It's greatly imaginative, but first goes every direction. It doesn't as far it.
Oh, sorry, Lawrence. You're still breaking up. Damn it.
All right, the universe is infinite. It goes forever, both in that direction and in that direction. Tell them. Something in that, you know, more power to make your microscope, the whole thing be.
All right, it looks like
forever.
it looks like Lawrence is breaking up still on us. Damn it, we're still having a problem. But it's Lawrence is saying that he believes that the universe is infinite that way and infinite this way. Just as a point, he was adding. Robin, you unmuted for a second there. Lawrence, we're getting too much breakup from your mic. We can't really make it out, unfortunately. Robin, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment to Nate that he dated himself by speaking about Randy Johnson.
Ah.
I was in middle school when they won the first World Series. I don't know if you're because he started on the Padres, I think, but we had Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson. It was a really good Diamondbacks lineup back then.
I hadn't heard his name in a long time, but he was a good pitcher.
He was fun.
But I want to say they were talking earlier about those drones that they saw, and they said they were as big as cars.
Yeah, that was some of the claims. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not too far out of possibility because, like, I have a Mennonite farmer. Okay, that I pick up milk for, and he has a drone that is probably somewhere between the size of like a beetle bug, or something like that. It's relatively close to that size. Well, and it's used for spray in his fields.
Yeah, and what you're saying, Robin, is totally in line with kind of what I was saying is that when stuff like this happens, we should always like err on the side of, okay, let's. Yeah. Could humans be doing this? It's like almost certainly this is man-made. So what could be a hypothesis through that lens? A lot of people skip that step, and I think it's a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. The last thing we should say we think it is first is aliens, since we have no examples of any aliens from prior.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just that's like just.
I used to fly into Northern California a bunch, and Robin, I would look out my window and I would see crop circles as far as the eye can see. And, I think the fact that, and I actually flew into Vancouver a couple times, and you go over some farmland. And, to me, I think like the fact that I was doing like this rationalist business trip, I didn't even think twice that, like crop circles are like, this is just an oddity of farming, I guess.
Well, now there was an actual pair of men who were intentionally doing crop circles at one time, and they were doing it to, be deceitful. Like they were doing it sort of as a hoax, like
to get attention, maybe even to make some more money. Like all of this stuff is of high value, especially for people who are very lonely.
There was the people who were faking it. Like if you have ever seen the thing, they basically had like 2x4s with holes in it and some like rope, and they would go out and just like flatten things in a specific pattern.
Right.
And you would never think that they could design the stuff they did with what they had. I mean, it was awesome what they were doing, but
it's art, right? And it's also like. It's like has a sci-fi element to it. So it's like, there's something very, very interesting about it. Lawrence, did you fix your mic there? No? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, no worries. It looks like we have evidence of an alien in the Discord chat right here. El Rito has just posted it. Oh my God. I think I believe. I can't believe what's happening. Oh, you guys should be able to see it on YouTube. He's trying to communicate with us. He's saying, Oh, it's Elvis Presley. He's back. Elvis Presley is back, folks. He came back. He was abducted, and now he's returned. Look at those hips.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Have you guys ever looked at the differentiation between little green men and gray men? Like with that change in time, like nobody thinks of aliens as little green men anymore.
Right.
Like, right? They think of them as the grays.
Well, according
That's
to
because of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
exactly
Pounded that image into people's heads in terms of like the social ethos of how aliens were viewed in the West.
100%. And from what I've heard from the UFO, I don't want to call them fanatics, but for some reason that word comes to mind.
UFO believers.
They apparently the alien grays are the evil ones. I don't know how.
Yeah, they're the ones doing all the up the butt. They're the ones doing all the butt stuff and shit. You know what I mean?
Apparently.
Well, that was a Stephen King book. What book was that?
Mr. Gray. I know.
Yeah,
what
Mr. Gray. Yeah, like that was a Stephen King. Like Stephen King did the whole Mr. Gray thing.
Yeah.
I think it was Tommy Knockers.
Tommy Knockers.
It's a King title.
Yeah, Catcher. That's what it is. Mr. Gray movie.
Hey.
All right. Lawrence, you want to try again? I think you might still be breaking up. We'll see.
I'm you know how I am.
You're good.
Call me.
Okay, go ahead.
I asked you and you guys Elvis Darwin.
Nah, you're still breaking up. Damn it. We need to send Jesus, please. Jesus, if you're with me, send Lawrence a working microphone.
I really want to hear what Lawrence has.
I do too. I keep wanting to hear it. Lawrence, type it out and I will read it if we can't get your mic working. I
did just remember, like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say it's a Dreamcatcher. It was the Stephen King novel about Mr. Gray.
Right. Yeah. Everyone, if you're new to Pangburn, make sure you subscribe. We have good faith, helpful conversations like this on all different kinds of topics almost every day here at Pangburn. You can join us on Discord. I gave you guys the link there. That's where we're being able to talk to each other here, and we appreciate it if you drop a like. But do subscribe. Check out Pangburn content. You'll find something. And actually, for people who are interested in this topic, we just produced a live intellectual discussion between Lawrence Krauss and Nick Pope. And Nick Pope is the guy with glasses and kind of spiky hair that you'll see on most of your favorite Ancient Aliens show. And they had a little debate and discussion in New York City about the topic of UFOs in general. And Lawrence Krauss kind of came at that conversation through the lens of a physicist. And it was a really interesting conversation, but that exists on our channel here.
Testing 1, 2. Is that better?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
My name's Wes. You know, people will call me crazy, left, right, up, and down in every diagonal way they can. So I'm just going to ask Jesus to send to every one of you angels, the angels of Stephen Hawking, Isaac Newton, Asimov, Isaac Asimov, the science fiction writer, Elvis Presley, and Einstein,
awesome,
and Darwin, and Carl Sagan, and I want them to tell you that the universe goes infinitely outwardly in every direction and inwardly. If you started looking at an atom, you can find something smaller infinitely. Now, the other thing is there is no such thing as alien. There is no organic life or any kind of human life of any kind on any other planet other than Earth. All videos that claim they are spaceship captures are hoaxes. Every one of these.
Lawrence.
If I'm saying the truth, Stephen Hawking will tell you, Isaac Asimov will tell you, Carl Sagan will tell you, and Steve Jobs, you go there too, to let them know that our current quantum computing is tiddlywinks compared to the possibility.
Isn't this a positive claim, though, in the same sense?
Yes.
That our
Yes.
quantum
UAPs.
science is like tiddlywinks in reality.
Okay.
It's like
I'm assuming he's been to every planet. He knows.
So
Yeah.
kindergarten,
Yeah.
you know,
so
it's
Lawrence-
not as smart as we like to imagine.
So Lawrence, I wonder how you would justify, the claim that there's no other organic life out there, because I think like if you believe that reality or the universe is infinite and we're the only life, I think that's an extraordinary claim. How do you justify
My
that?
foundation is it's in the Bible. Jesus,
Right.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting scripture, but it is in the word of Jesus in the King James Version. There is no life out there on any other planets, only on Earth. And, in the heaven, but, you're going to be very surprised as to where heaven really is when you find it, when you get there.
Well, I'm gonna check the Bible. So far, I'm seeing that the Bible does not explicitly state whether there is or is not life in the universe. It's focused primarily on humanity's relationship with God.
It does, says Carl Sagan.
Oh, Carl Sagan says? Oh, okay, interesting.
So that's, and Stephen Hawking too. But maybe it's best for Elvis to tell you.
Lawrence, I don't want to create any drama here, but I just want to bring up the fact that in the Discord chat, someone said this is akin to a religious belief, the strength which you deny UAPs.
I'm not going to serrate a rusty circle of platinum and silver to cut you up about this. It's the truth. I've got Carl Sagan telling you. I got Darwin, Newton. I got Asimov and Einstein telling you that what I'm saying is the truth. Who do you have that's telling us that you're speaking the truth?
Any response?
But none of those guys actually have. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Scott. I apologize. Hunterheim
You're
had
good.
something to say, and he got cut off a minute ago.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and one other thing. Darwin will tell you there was no such thing as evolution.
Lawrence, hold on. Lawrence, hold on.
Let's let Hohenheim go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Hohenheim.
Darwin. First, Darwin. I'm not going to address that anyway. I was going to say.
Hang on,
Faith in
Lawrence.
evolution. Darwin will tell you.
Hang on, Lawrence. I'm just gonna mute you for a bit. You gotta wait for others to finish. Go ahead.
I'm going to say the verse in the Bible. They often say, stating there's aliens is God's many mansions in the sky. But I can't imagine aliens are living in mansions in the sky, so it's a bit silly. I was just going to say that. That's what I was going to say. And then Darwin and evolution. Darwin would say there's no such thing as evolution. Lawrence, defend that claim. My God, what are you talking about? Thank you.
I'll defend it this way. God.
Okay. Lawrence says God. Lawrence has
Scott was next.
That's
It's like I'm looking here at Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan never said that there is no chance of life outside of Earth. I think that's quite a strong or a very far branch that you're going out.
And Carl
Right.
says,
Like,
but Darwin was talking about selection pressures. I don't know if you guys.
I said Carl Sagan. I was talking about Carl Sagan.
I thought you said
Carl Sagan. Would you touch him gently on the shoulder, please?
I'm gonna mute forever now. Sorry.
Yeah, and that is a thing too. And like when we talk about Sagan, Darwin, none of these people actually have the answer to say there's nothing out there. But I don't even think this is the argument that's ever been made. Like nobody is saying, other than Christians, that life only exists on, or religious people, that life only exists on Earth. Right?
Yeah,
I think
at the end of the road, though, Scott, I'm just curious if Carl Sagan didn't live a life for all lives. He didn't necessarily is that just an appeal to authority as well?
No, I'm saying Carl Sagan didn't say it. So like I'm pointing out like the lack of an appeal to authority, right? So even if Carl Sagan did say it, that would be an appeal to authority, but I can point out that Carl Sagan didn't actually say that. And then where does the argument stand at this point?
Well,
right. So
and just to be clear, everyone, like if we're talking about an appeal to authority with regards to like logical fallacies, it's only a fallacy if you're using the authority as the justification, the truth value, the
Correct.
justification for the claim. When people are citing experts, they're not citing that the thing is correct because the expert said so. The thing is correct because the expert is citing what the justification is. So the citation that the experts are giving, that's the reason why the thing is either correct or not. So I think sometimes when we reference the scientific consensus or reference particular experts, some people will jump to say, "Oh, that's an appeal to authority fallacy," but it's not.
It's appeal to modeling. It's appeal to scientific modeling that
exactly.
that is the justification
Correct.
for why. It's the reason why these experts say that is the case, because their justification is in fact the empirical evidence they got.
Yeah, I'll give you.
Sorry, I didn't fully understand that in this context.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Like if you say, "Mom, what's that?" and the kid points at a squirrel, and they say, "It's that's a unicorn," and then they say, "It's like how do you know that's a unicorn?" Because I said so. That's an appeal to authority, yourself as the authority. Your justification you gave is yourself. You didn't give like, because here's the model that outlines the various different species of unicorns and how they look and different, So it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get into clades and taxonomy as we.
Unicorn is written in the Bible. Do you know what it is? The unicorn.
This is like mothers commit fallacies every day, I guess.
Yes.
It is the rhinoceros.
What is?
The unicorn written in the Bible is a rhinoceros.
How do you know?
From the description, I agree totally with Lawrence on this point. The unicorn written about with the tail the size of a cedar, the cedar that grew in the Middle East at the time would be looked at more as a bush or a shrub by today's standards.
But a rhinoceros was in no way even approaching the look of an equine, right? Though, correct?
Correct. That I believe that's kind of a modern Euro kind of stylized version of a unicorn.
Very interesting. Anyone in the room believe, or Brett, how do you feel about this topic? What do you feel about aliens, UFOs, and UAPs?
I'm open to the idea. I have definitely looked into it before and felt like a lot of the evidence does come up short. The search I did said that officially as of today, the U.S. government hasn't confirmed any extraterrestrial life, although there's been, some, what are those things called? Congressional testimony and stuff like that.
Yeah, so-called whistleblowers and...
Yeah. People have made some wild claims, that's for sure.
The most direct, I would say, with the issue I have is I had a friend in San Diego who said in a very sober fashion that he at one point had a sighting down off the beaches of San Diego, and that jets that he assumed from the military went after some objects in the sky, but that was obviously secondhand, so I can't verify that.
Yeah, I lived in San Diego on the beach in a bungalow for a year and a half. And I'm sure a lot of the people from what I saw they were imbibing on, saw a lot of things.
Oh, you're referring to
that was the speed
magic
meth
mushrooms.
capital of California was San Diego.
Well, I mean, what Lawrence is saying is not completely out to lunch, right? Like there are these situations where people are like, oh, we were drinking, we were doing drugs, and then a group of us saw some UFOs fly above our head, and it wasn't like we were taking hallucinogenic drugs or anything like that. So I don't, throwing Lawrence a bone here, it is true that, and this isn't necessarily Brett's case, but it can be someone does like a dose of something or smokes some strange weed or something, and that might make them more prone to misidentifying some things that they see.
One also, like, I mean, by the nature, it's unidentified, right? So if you have no like previous understanding of something that you're seeing in the sky, like it's an unidentified aerial phenomena, right? That doesn't mean it's extraterrestrial by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it should never mean that, right? Like when people see something unidentified, it's like, well, aliens is a plausible explanation. No, it's not. It's not plausible at all. It
Can I make a point?
It's possible. It's possible, but it's not plausible.
Einstein,
It's not harmonious.
Agree with me. So,
Can I make a point?
Yeah, go ahead, Robin.
I heard like some people talking about this not too long ago. We have like I thinking they said like 8,000 satellites in space now, or something like that.
No, way more than that, like 80,000.
Okay, all right, okay. It's like a whole bunch, and it causes a whole lot of light pollution. In fact, it is making it hard for us to even pick asteroids, that could potentially be in danger of coming to Earth, and getting in our, that something might be coming at us that we can't even see because of the light pollution of all the satellites.
Yeah. That's true, Scott. There's 11,330.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was a bunch. I couldn't remember the number, but I knew it was a.
That's specific satellites, but actual like orbiting things around Earth, like broken up satellites, that number gets really, really high, really, really quick.
Okay,
right?
Like
Not everything. I guess that's. I guess that's where I was going. Sorry.
So
yeah.
12,994. Yeah, closer to what Thomas was saying, orbiting Earth as of 2024. This number has been rapidly increasing, primarily due to the deployment of large satellite constellations like SpaceX's Starlink, which alone accounts for 6,111 active satellites, almost half of what are up there. The surge in satellite use has led to increased congestion in low Earth orbit, rising concerns about space debris, and the potential for collisions. International efforts are underway to address these challenges.
I'm looking at I way overestimated. It's 25,857 artificial objects in orbit above the Earth. That's including like debris of like things that have broken apart.
Oh, okay. You're talking about artificial objects. Okay.
Yeah.
So 13,000 satellites orbiting. It looks like Scott was saying 25,000 objects. Yeah, this is getting a little cluttered up there, but there's growing concern, but it's not like we've had collisions. It seems like.
No, but make a point real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, just want to say something. A lot of this stuff can be parsed by is it likely or unlikely, right? And now we're talking about, unidentified flying objects, aliens, all this stuff. We know on our example here on Earth that life is possible. And how vast the universe is, how many planets are out there.
Yep.
This is why we think it's possible that life, how vast it is, just by those facts, right? There might be other bases for life, like non-carbon based,
Can I make
and things like that, right?
Can I make an offering here, El Rito, with regards to possibility and plausibility? So we have plausible reasons to believe that there is life on other planets in the cosmos. We have, because it happens here, is evidence enough to add some plausibility factor to the case that there is life on other planets. Not just possibility, plausibility. So that also means, considering the vast, and this is what the Fermi Paradox is talking about, right? Considering the vastness of the cosmos, it also means that it's plausible that there are other intelligent life forms out there, not just possible, plausible. And then, but what it doesn't mean, we don't have any plausible good reason to believe that any of this stuff is close to us in any way or within reach. That's where people make the leap, where they think just because it's plausible that there's other life or intelligent life out there, that means it must be within our reach. But that just doesn't logically follow.
I agree with Travis entirely.
Yeah, they would be far more technologically advanced than us. They can get here.
I'm saying likely, you're saying plausible. We can argue about the definitions. I don't think that's useful right now, but I'm just looking at what is the difference between the two. Maybe something grammatical or whatever.
No,
right?
not like
I'm just saying.
Plausible just means seemingly rationalized, reasonable.
Yeah.
Something is plausible if it's reasonable, possible, or believable. I mean, are we going to discuss?
There's a difference between possibility and plausibility. That's what I'm trying to point to here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see what the point of that is. But to be honest with you, it seems
it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Definitions.
Well, definitely they do, but you understand the point that I'm trying to make, right?
Well,
what I just said, like
Can I show you something here? Like, it's possible that Michael Jackson is moonwalking on the surface of the sun right now. Quantum mechanics allows for this. It allows for it.
Yep.
So it's possible, but there's zero.
Yeah, there's a 0.1% of it of anything you can imagine.
Yes, exactly. There is zero plausibility to the claim that Michael Jackson is moonwalking on the surface of the sun right now, but there's a possibility.
Yeah, and El Rito, like here is the strict definition. Possibility is the ability for something to happen, while probability is the likelihood that something will happen, right?
Okay. Given that definition, we wouldn't get anywhere when we're trying to argue stuff, because we don't have all the pieces of the possible to make that statement. It just seems you're unnecessary to me. But
you're resisting something that you probably already believe in based on what I know about you thus far and how you argue. I'm just gonna.
I don't know,
like,
who said it, but can you type it on the chat, please? Because whatever that true definition is, right?
I'm posting it.
I'm gonna post the differences right here, because like the colloquial definitions that we pull up are not. They're not going to be enough to demonstrate the difference between the two. But there's possibility, the scope of it. And you're going to see the differences here.
Yeah.
Not all possible.
And what Travis posted is.
And here's one more thing to add to this. All plausible things are possible, but not all possible things are plausible. That's a key differentiation to understand there.
Yes.
But anyways, I
and probability is.
I don't want to. Okay. I'll look into this later, but I mean, it seems that we're getting sidetracked by definitions here, right? I think you understand the point that I was trying to make, right?
They matter, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's also.
I know they matter, but I don't want to get into an argument about this because we don't have the whole picture. So saying that something is absolutely plausible is acknowledging that we know everything that can happen. You know what I mean?
Not. Yeah, no, it's not. You just demonstrated your ignorance on these concepts. So I'm just saying, like, we don't have to keep talking about it, but we can move forward with what you were trying to say without using these terms. But I'm just imploring you to look at this, because what you just said is not representative of plausibility or possibility, needing to have all of this extra whatever. But Go ahead with
So I
with the
think,
main
yeah.
point of what you're trying to say.
The main point is that we understand that there's, whatever word you want to use, something out there that allows for life to happen. We know that, right? The universe is really vast. So chances are, whatever word you want to use, that is, we don't know exactly for sure, right? Trying to avoid using these terms, fun stuff, that there's life out there.
Correct.
Okay? If you have to bet, you probably win that bet.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to say. And I'm framing it with those two words that I'm going to look further into. I'm going to give you the definitions. We're going to argue until we agree. Not now. But I'm just framing them in likely and unlikely. How possible it is, how plausible, whatever words you want to use, that something can happen or not happen. Right? So when Lawrence is saying, yeah, there's no life out there, we don't have the whole picture. And actually, the things that we actually know now, they kind of show that, yeah, it's possible, it's likely, or whatever words you want to use, right? I don't want to get into that right now because, like you point out, I will admit, I don't know the definition.
What we would need is justifications, right? We would need justifications. That's what we really want.
And Lawrence gave his justification being the Bible, right? So then you can attack the justification and tell him what's wrong with his justification if you disagree with it, which I'm sure we all do.
Well, then I also asked Jesus to send the angels of Einstein, Sagan to your houses to tell you.
I thought they were in hell. I thought those guys were in hell, Lawrence.
I think Lawrence is trying to pull a
Jackson to make an appearance.
Ghost of Jesus Past sort of deal on all of this. Like all the people are going to show up. Like,
Robin, it's on season and on topic.
First, I think that aliens are actually. I think that there actually is life that has developed on some other planets across the universe. I think it's very likely. I think it is very unlikely. I think it's very unlikely that they can actually transport from where they are to us.
I'm going to go further, Robin. I'm going to go further and say I think it's highly unlikely that we're ever going to detect.
Yes, we'll probably never know about each other.
I hope. Look. I hope I am wrong about that, and we do, because I think it would be just so exciting. It would be like demonstrating the existence of ghosts to me. Like
we'd probably kill them if we could.
It would be so extraordinary and so unbelievable.
Another problem is we don't have time to wait for infinity. We don't have time as humans. We don't have time to wait for infinity to see if we ever actually do get in touch with aliens. You know what I mean? There's a small window.
But
we
why
may
is
become
that belief?
Extinct.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
why is that more rational than
we have an
Michael
idea
Jackson
of like
moonwalking?
I
don't get why that's more rational than Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson moonwalking on the. Hold on. It was Michael Jackson moonwalking on the sun, not just Michael
why can't we just
moonwalking.
Yeah, but why can't we just pick that and say that's the same thing as saying we have a concrete belief in extraterrestrials or something?
Well,
it's the same thing.
No. It's not the same thing because, like we have to look at like the plausibility factor of that, right? So it's like if it's not plausible because we have no good reason to give as to how that could happen, right? We have no justification to give to that. On the other hand, we have justification based on our own existence and the existence of this flourishing planet full of life, that life in many different kinds of forms, including tardigrades who can essentially survive anything and are indestructible, can exist. So we can extrapolate that into a plausible model of how life can occur way out there in the vastness of this universe. And
that's I mean, but they're both like imaginary circumstances. So
they're both
categorically, but categorically, I don't think you're. To me, it doesn't seem like you're getting into the core issue. Like
I
it's
think
just
this is
the issue
problem.
of categories.
I think it's a
But-
problem
but
with those
hold
definitions
on.
too. Okay, just imagine someone on the sun. What do you think will happen to that person? You know what I mean? Without using likely or plausible or whatever, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, basically.
If someone happens to land on the sun, right? Before they even land on the sun, what do you think is going to happen?
Unless they are wearing
right?
technological.
So, I
They'd
mean-
probably catch on. They'd probably catch on fire.
And then
I think.
and then
People
someone
wouldn't
says,
catch on
"How
fire,
do
they
you know?
No, but
How do you know
Albedo.
there's not a way?" Yeah.
When we're looking at the possibility of Michael Jackson moonwalking on the sun, we're talking about he could be moonwalking using boots that cause him to become essentially as indestructible as a tardigrade, right?
I know, Travis. That's my point. I'm not going to use those terms. I promise I'll study them, and
don't worry.
we'll agree on those terms
I'm
later.
not pushing you on that. I'm
But
just giving you a
the
possible
point I'm making,
science fiction explanation for how it could be possible, like in a movie.
let me just finish. Let me just point. I think
go
we'll
ahead.
agree.
Go ahead.
So we know that person will burn. How do we know? Science, right? Whatever. Now, like Travis is saying, like someone comes along and says, "How do you know? We can devise something that a human being won't be able to set foot on the sun. I don't know, right? It's like, aha, so therefore there's a chance that can happen. So therefore I'm going to live my life as if, Michael Jackson is there.
No,
I mean, come on.
no. Don't.
That's not what Travis said. He
Yeah,
don't think this is happening.
You don't live your life as if Michael Jackson is fucking moonwalking. That's not the point.
To use Michael Jackson.
I doubt Travis thinks
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
maybe aliens.
Maybe if
Right?
maybe if one of Assad's prisons was on the sun, then Michael Jackson could moonwalk on it.
Yeah,
No,
like
it's
it's not saying I live my life as like I think Michael Jackson is moonwalking on the sun.
I
It's the
live my
point-
life
it's-
as if there's no life out there.
El
right?
Rito.
That's what Lawrence was saying.
El Rito, an example I would give you is I believe it's possible that all of the gods that have ever been proposed exist, including the Christian God and including all of those gods. I think it's possible. That's fine. It doesn't mean I'm going to live my life based on possibility. Do you know why?
Correct.
Because possibility ought not weigh into our epistemological standards of what we claim to know about reality. Possibility.
That's not what I'm claiming, Travis.
should
Just
never-
saving you
should
some
never
time
weigh
in there.
What?
That's a
Saving
Michael.
you some time.
Sure.
That is not what I'm saying, and that is not what I believe. I'm just pointing out that somebody out there, right? We're using Michael Jackson as an example, right? That
Here you go,
someone
you
out there
example.
might claim, yeah, right? I mean, you can see that happening, right? Somebody said, "Hey, how do you know there's no way in the universe that someone can walk on the moon?" And we don't do that because it opens the door to all sorts of discussions that we can disprove, right? So that is not useful. That's what I'm trying to say. And for example, claim there's no life out there.
I think
Or
you're.
claim that it is.
I think you're kind of like
Someone said,
arguing
"How
for
do you-"
like. I think you're kind of arguing
Yeah.
to like don't talk about what's possible. And fine. I mean, there are people out there and philosophers out there that think it's a futile effort to even discuss possibility because there doesn't seem to be any reasonable way to rule out any possibilities. So it just seems like a futile effort. But that's one of the things. That's one of the arguments I make to people who have dogma in their life, like religious people. I will tell them that you actually descriptively are fallible. To believe that you're not fallible or to believe that you have any belief internally that is infallible is actually delusional. So we are, because of what we know about the cognitive limitations of human beings, I argue that we are actually all fallible. So our idea is really that anything, really is possible. Tomorrow you could believe a whole different set of things, even if you believe it to be impossible today. Like if you were like, I believe in Jesus' resurrection to be true and that Jesus is God and nothing ever could ever change my mind. And I believe that infallibly because I have God on my side. And then a month later, they're like, oh yeah, I don't believe that anymore. I'm an atheist.
Yeah, and impossibility is really hard to justify by saying Like when
Exactly.
Lawrence said it's impossible for life to exist on other planets.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't support that with evidence.
No,
So
the
you're
evidence-
taking on a burden of proof.
the evidence
Exactly.
he provides.
Exactly.
Innate.
The evidence he provides is the Bible, and that's easy. I mean, that's like we can rip that apart in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
So you're taking on a burden of proof that's not necessary. So you just say everything's possible because that way you don't have to try to justify an impossibility.
Well, I would say,
claim.
let me just say that my fallibilism maxim is that certainty is almost certainly unattainable. So we should always say that it's almost certainly the case that everything's possible. Then you even leave open the possibility for something to be impossible.
You hedge both sides of your bets.
Yeah, but then that is the distinction we get to between possibility and probability.
Well, yeah, and then like
Possibility and hang on. Possibility and plausibility, right, Scott? Because probability has
plausibility. Yeah, correct.
But
Yep.
just to
And I
explain to
promise
the
you
audience
all-
and everything, hang on one second. I'll be done in 2 seconds, I swear. Just to explain to the audience, probability is about things that have already happened. We're attempting to understand how likely a thing is to occur again or occur in sequence or whatever it may be. To have a probability of something like a statistic, you have to have a numerator and a denominator. And the denominator is going to tell you how many times that thing has happened.
Yeah.
So when people talk about, well, it's probable, well, we need more evidence if we're going to work within probability.
Yeah, and that's why plausibility is what I use, because in conversations like this, so which would refer to something that is reasonably likely to happen or to be true based on evidence, logic, or current understanding. So it doesn't have to be something that has necessarily occurred, but it can be based on like just abstractions like we made about, okay, we don't know that it's actually occurred that life has evolved on other planets, but we can abstract a plausibility from what's happened on our planet and talk about how plausible it is that it can happen on a different planet.
Yes. And I think logical argumentation like that could be taken as evidence, especially since we can understand these things.
Yeah. That is my exact point. That's the only thing that I was trying to point out. Without using those terms, I promise you I'm going to be an expert on what they mean, so we can all agree using the right language. I think that's absolutely important. What I'm trying to say is the fact that there's this trick that we can do with our language. We can say that, like we're saying, the Bible is, we don't think the Bible is correct, right? Someone comes along and says, how do you know? Do you know God? Do you know this? Oh, I can't disprove that. Okay, so therefore, right? As if there's some kind of evidence of anything.
No, I know.
Right?
You're talking
That's what I
about
was
the
trying to
burden of
say.
proof. Yes. Yeah, the burden of proof is on the person claiming the Bible to be the word of God and to be whatever. And it's not up to you to if you can't come up with why the Bible's false or incorrect, then that's one point for the Bible side. No, it's not.
And this is also where Bayes' theorem comes in handy, because we can look at like science has roughly, let's call it a 400 or 500 year history. That's how long, typically, like the excitement of Western rationalism and like a real scientific inquiry has been going on. And there's also good reason to believe that there's a probability it's true. And so if I also put up another argument next to it and say, well, Christianity, as a matter of fact, has been going on for 2,000 years. That's true, but the probability that Christianity is true is a lot smaller because there's almost no evidence that meets any epistemic criteria that Christianity itself is true. And so it's sort of normalizing to some extent, but it doesn't have to be. I don't even know.
No, I mean there is a differentiation there that's being made, right? Just because something has been around for a specific amount of time doesn't mean it's more accurate, right? So we've had religious beliefs for 40,000 years, and the accuracy of them has been sparse, to say the least, right? And then within the last 200 years, we have science, and it's giving us answers to what's actually going on, right? And it's just it comes down to the reproducibility and the efficacy of the answers. Yeah, Brett, go ahead.
I would add to that to say, at one point there was a belief that the real way to get a child to do something, or even if it wasn't a full belief, it was still embraced to some level, was physical punishment. And that
still happens in the South.
It still happens in the South.
Baptists still believe that.
Yeah.
It happens in many places.
My mom beat the hell out of me when I was a kid.
It happens in many places across many cultures around the world and such. And yet, modern scientific evidence will say, nope, that's not accurate. It's
Steven Anderson. He beat his kids with a extension cord.
It's a belief that needs to be attacked, which is really difficult because people who've grown up with it might have a hard time admitting, oh yeah, I was actually potentially abused in some way.
Yep.
100%. And the thing is that it is a difficult conversation, but if the person comes to realize that they were, within that, or if they were in like a, sectarian, religion that really hurt them by saying, oh, you're perpetually sinful, you're never good enough, all these other, things. Part of what I think the conversation has to be with them is like, hey, it's okay. Like, we know that you've been through some stuff. We've all gone through different things. No one's better than the other person. But that, you're okay coming out of that. Like it's not easy, but
you can scream that from the towers.
Okay,
and they can justify that with the Bible.
Yeah,
that's really, really quick, Scott, and then go. Yeah. Robin, that goes back to the point that Scott was just making a minute ago. Tradition doesn't make something right. You can have people who yell at one another in a family who say, this is how we communicate. It's like, no, that's how your grandparents communicated to your parents, etc. And said that this
tradition,
it becomes a personality quirk or whatever. And then it takes someone to make a really odd conversation to say, actually, have you thought that like, it's not your personality quirk. It's just you justify being yelled at when you were young, and now you yell at other people. Like it's actually going to work.
Yeah, and it teaches children that aggression and anger and violence are acceptable when you
to solve problems.
To solve problems.
And we can blame the aliens and UFOs for all of this.
Yes, we're back on topic.
And just to
that's exactly where I wanted to go, Trev. So let's go back to the alien and UFO idea, right? So what is the best notion that you guys have for aliens? To me, it makes more sense that aliens are just human beings who are coming back in time. That's why they're like taking up cows and taking up people and putting like probes up their butts. They're like, okay, we have some sort of issue going on with humans now. We need to understand what's going on.
Like us going back and exploring like ancient Greece or something, right?
Exactly.
That's your best. That's your best probability.
Scott just started a really good train here. So let's give our best sci-fi explanations. Okay, I got one. I don't know if this is the best one, but Mars, let's not say Mars, we've been there. Let's say Europa. Europa actually has this invisibility cloak around it, and there's tons of intelligent creatures living there, and they're the ones traveling over and visiting us. It's just we can't see them because they've easily solved the cloaking issue, and we just can't see them for the most part. Yep. Sometimes we see them when things malfunction, and
they got holodeck technology from the next generation.
What's that?
They have holodeck.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
There's one. Who's got another one?
The Venusians
I have one.
been hiding themselves from us for years. They created a fake greenhouse effect for a thick cloud cover so that we can't see the lights from the city, which encompasses the entire planet. And why anybody doesn't just understand this as basic fact, I'll never get. I'm pulling my hair out. I love you guys.
I just got what you were doing there.
Okay, Robin has one, and then we'll go to Nate.
Yeah. I recently saw a video that explained that aliens are simply people that they're ancient Jews, is what this video said, that went into underground into the center of the earth. Actually, I found out from this video that the portal to enter this area is in Kentucky, 30 minutes from my house at Mammoth Cave. And so I really found that fascinating. And these are people, what people think are aliens. These are actually people that live underground, not at the center of the earth, like in the core area, but far enough away to where because they're susceptible to sunlight.
Well, I think that if this is ever going to be a film, it needs to be called Jews in Kentucky.
Now, we have Jews in Kentucky that live above ground, actually, and they're not above. These their heads are real big. He had like pictures of them. I've never seen nothing like it in my life, but I was glad to find out that the portal was right there by my house.
Excellent. Great. Well, we need to do a field trip there, I think. Okay, Nate, you have one?
Yeah, and you guys know when I'm outside of the live streams, I'm a little faster and looser talking about conspiracy stuff. Whatever it is. But this is my conspiracy alien theory. And so my belief is that alien species are super intelligent, and the only way they escape the extinction cliff is because they develop the morals and systems to go and help other species do the same thing. Why? I don't know. But my theory is that the most advanced alien civilizations evolved on gaseous planets. And so instead of having hard forms of conflict like we have on Earth, like terrestrial land, they basically just feed off the ecosystem. And so their values and their systems are completely different from normal humans. And that's when we have interactions and we don't understand them, it's for that reason, because aliens are really only preventing like a nuclear catastrophe on Earth.
Well,
and they don't do anything else.
If that's
I love this idea of aliens like evolving in a gaseous planet, right? It's like gaseous planets are like they typically have like 50 times to like maybe like 1,000 times more gravity than Earth.
and that would perfectly explain the constant anal probing that's going on in our planet, because that's where we store our gas. Makes sense. Well, on that note, maybe we'll finish on anal probing. I think we had a great conversation today. A short show, but I think it was a lot of fun. We talked about UFOs, UAPs, aliens. Make sure you guys subscribe, smash the like button. If you're coming to this stream and listening after the fact, if you subscribe, you can actually get involved while we're creating the shows live on our channel. And if you want to jump into the conversations and join into the conversations, you need to join us on our Discord server, which is free. You can join us by clicking the link, and we have a very mature, good faith, helpful community with a diverse range of opinions on any given topic. But we always try to have a lot of fun. And just make sure you get familiar with the server rules when you come into Discord so that you can guarantee yourself success. But thanks for joining us today. We will catch you on the next one. We might be live again later tonight. We'll see. But thanks, everyone.
Bye. Hellfire.
Love it. That was such a great conversation.